Have you noticed how things are getting more and more expensive? We're seeing grocery prices soaring, rent skyrocketing, and unemployment increasing. Let's take a look at what's really going on.
Here's how much you need to earn per hour to afford living in Ontario. The Ontario Living Wage Network's latest report has bumped the amount one needs to earn to live well in Ontario up by 3.8% to $26 an hour. The network says despite the annual increase of minimum wage in the province to $17.20 an hour, there's still no place in Ontario where you can work full-time and cover all of your expenses.
There's no place you can work full time and cover all your expenses is a very interesting statement. As much as you want this to be exaggerated, it really isn't. Yeah, that tells you a lot of what's really going on here in Ontario and what the economy is like and what day to day living is like. Let's watch a few more.
Quebecers will be digging a little deeper into their wallets in 2025 with the price of several goods and services expected to rise. Groceries are a major category. According to projections in Canada's Food Price Report 2025, prices will increase by 3 to 5% nationwide and up to 5% in Quebec. Economists say that there are several reasons for this. Climate change, supply chain issues, and the low value of the Canadian dollar right now are a few of them.
This is nothing more than if demand outstrips supply, like anything else, the price goes up. So that could be true for iPads, it could be true for Taylor Swift tickets, it could be true for food as well.
Another big one is electricity. Hydro-Quebec is currently awaiting permission to increase its electricity rates by 3% for residential customers, 3.9% for commercial businesses, and 3.3% for industrial customers. Hydro-Quebec says the increase is necessary to modernize its network, cover its increased operating costs, and to expand its ability to produce clean electricity. The price of alcohol sold at the SAQ will also go up slightly. The rate will depend on the price and type of alcohol. For example, a $15 bottle of wine will go up by about 5 cents, while a $45 bottle of spirits will increase by about $1.50. This money isn't going to the producers, but to the SAQ itself, which says it's facing an increase in operating costs. The tax on cigarettes is also expected to go up in Quebec. There was a $2 increase for a carton of 200 cigarettes in 2024. The province has said that the goal is to deter smoking, but one economist doesn't believe that.
It's actually really just a way for the government to raise revenue, and they're raising it on the back of something that they find to be immoral.
Here in the Montreal area, vehicle registration fees that drivers typically pay the city, known as the registration tax, will go up from $59 to $150. The city says this will go to fund public transit. Parking tickets will also go up at an average of 8%. Experts say that while price increases aren't unusual over time, they expect that a lot of people will be taking a closer look at their finances in the new year.
I think we came to realize that many of us did not have the savings we thought we had or the savings capacity we thought we have. So hopefully, as consumers, we got a bit more responsible with what we were doing with our money, and we will have that habit of saving.
He says that means less leisurely spending and only pulling out your wallet for things you actually need.
So that's the key, all right, because there is so much of inflation and an increased cost of living that and paychecks are not necessarily meeting you on par or growing on par with what we're seeing with inflation. So the only thing that you can control and that you are left to control is your spending habits. With all these prices rising, let's see what it takes to live and how are people managing their paychecks today. Let's see what this expert has to say.
So how are people affording to live, you know?
Let's say they're making $50K a year, okay? After tax, that's $40K a year. Per month income, that's $3,300 a month. That once you get a one bedroom, yeah, it is.
That's good math.
I'm pretty good at math.
It is.
Oh, $3,300 a month.
Yeah.
If you get a one bedroom condo, assuming you have the $10,000 to buy furniture and furnish the fucking place, the one bedroom condo is like $2,500. So you're left with $800 a month for everything else. That's if you're living alone.
That's food, cell phone, internet. I mean, if you got Netflix, most people got streaming sites. What if you have a car? Now we're talking insurance, we're talking finance. If you go to the gym, there's definitely.
So what are these people doing?
It's pretty tight with the way things are right now, and you can tell that it is things are brutal. It is a rough economy, and we're going to take a look at what people are actually doing right now.
what I spend in a month as a 24-year-old living alone in downtown Toronto. It's no surprise that rent is my largest expense. It's $19.50 a month. And then my Wi-Fi, utilities, etc. were around $112. For utilities, I do only pay hydro. Subscriptions, I spend just under $40. I have YouTube Premium, but I do use my parents' Netflix. My work covers my whole phone bill, so that's $0. And then on dentist/medical, I spent around $20 to renew a prescription. For the whole month, my groceries cost me $125. I'm always shopping around for the best deals. I like to use coupons, and I redeem a lot of loyalty points at Freshco to get free groceries. I try to walk everywhere, so my transportation was $0. My boyfriend does have a car, so he drives us places on the weekends. We do social activities. My gym membership is just under $40, and that does include my locker rental for the month. I spent $120 on miscellaneous. This is anything that doesn't fit into my other categories. In my social expense category, this pretty much included just coffee and food out with other people, which I count as social. This is for protein powder, creatine, EAAs, etc. On beauty, I spent around $75. I got some perfume at Victoria's Secret and my favorite La Roche-Posay sunscreen. I spent just over $200 on clothing. This was mainly at Abercrombie. I did go to Chicago in September. That cost me just under $1,200. And I paid for all of this out of my travel sinking fund. For the month of September, this is what I spent in total.
Yeah, so that comes around 4,000 and something. And with the average salary, that's pretty much living paycheck to paycheck. But she's been really smart. She's planned ahead for what she wants to do. She's got a travel sinking fund for her trip. And she's got like her emergencies covered. She's got a lot of different things, and she's keeping a very good track of things. So I think that's something to learn from her. And that's what we're seeing, right? Even a 24-year-old needs to have a very tight budget and know exactly what they're doing, because that is a reflection of what the economy. I just want to say one thing though: rent is a lot more in downtown if you're not sharing an apartment. So right now, you're probably going to get like a one bedroom for a little over $2,500. That's what it is right now.
How are people affording life right now?
No, because let's talk about it. You want to know how little my life has changed since I went from making $60K a year to over $100K? People keep asking me, oh my gosh, what designer bag are you going to get first? Or where are you traveling to first? You know what I can afford now? Therapy. Taking my cats to the vet. I can afford to go to the local butcher and the farmer's market versus going to a No Frills or a Food Basics. I can afford new glasses, and I can afford to go to the dentist. I can pay more than just the minimums on my credit card debt. It's so crazy to me that these things are what's costing me more money and I can actually afford them. This stuff should be accessible to everyone. Everyone should get access to fresh produce and going to therapy and getting glasses, taking your pets to the vet. In my opinion, the things that I'm spending my money on is not part of a lifestyle inflation. It is just genuine basic necessities that I think everybody deserves access to. It's so crazy to me that as a kid, I dreamed of making six figures. Having a six-figure corporate job was my absolute fucking dream. And now I'm realizing 100K does not take you far at all.
That is so true. 100K does not take you very far today. Even a substantial bump may not be something that can afford the luxuries of life anymore. Cost of living has really gone up. Here's 3 tips to keep your spending under control. 1, budget. Make sure you know exactly where every dollar in your paycheck is going and keep track of it. 2, challenge yourself to learn a new skill. So if you see that you're spending a little too much on subscriptions like Netflix and YouTube or takeout, it might be a good idea to learn to cook and spend less time on the scroll and actually use your talent there and build one. If you find that a lot of your spending comes from things like TikTok shop and online doom scrolling, it might be a good idea to cut that back and replace that activity with something that is positive for you. And final tip would be see what else is available other than brand names. You'll be surprised with the quality of products that don't have a brand on it and do the job just as well. I'm curious to see what you guys do and what do you think of these tips. Let me know in the comments.